Don Tepman, how do I want to start this? Yep. All right, we're going to go like this. Don Tepman is the prolific personality behind the Strip Mall Guy account with almost 280,000 followers on X. In his day job, Don is president and founder of Town Center Capital, which invests in strip malls. Now, I compiled a list of my favorite recent Strip Mall Guy posts, and we brought in Don to talk about them. Live from New York, it's Where We Buy. That's right, you're listening to Where We Buy. It's the show where we talk with retail experts and we visit the places where we buy. My name is James Cook. I research retail and real estate for JLL. And today, Don and I are both recording live from the JLL booth at ICSC, New York. Welcome, Don.
Thanks, James. Thanks for having me. I'm fired up for this one. Let's do it.
All right. So, Don, I was going to do the topic of this show as my favorite posts of the year.
Okay.
You post like crazy. To do my homework, I went back a couple of months and I was like, I have more than enough stuff to talk about already.
My apologies for that.
No, that's what makes you so successful. How often, what's your frequency on posting? You're doing multiple a day, right?
It just depends on what I see here and think about that day. So it could be one or two on an off day, and some days I just, get inspired by the different things that pop into my mind, and it could be 8 to 10. It totally depends on the day.
So it's just off the top of your head, whatever suits your fancy.
Yep.
Okay, I'm randomly selecting posts here that I liked. Okay. So here's one that I liked right off the bat is that you ran a survey and you asked people, should it be a legal requirement that photos and videos generated by AI be labeled?
Yeah.
And almost 90% of people said yes. I can't believe it's not 100. Why would anyone not want AI labeled?
A lot of folks don't. I mean, for me, when you scroll Instagram, a lot of the videos that are doing really, really well are fake. They're AI. There was one that I think I posted that one after I saw the one. It was like a behind the scenes of the filming of Titanic with Leo, and they were, and it was totally not real, and like the audience thought that it was, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, like the engagement is going towards accounts that are just making things up, and I don't know, it doesn't feel right, and I think a lot of folks push back on that who are maybe the ones that want to be using AI and fooling people. I don't know what it is, but it's just not an authentic thing, and you see the algorithms are picking that stuff up, so it kind of like muddies the water, I think.
Yeah, I don't like it at all, and I mean, like I'm not a big TikTok user, but I'll scroll every once in a while and I'll see something and I'll believe it's real.
Yeah.
And then I'll look and there's a little Sora logo down there. And I just want to assume, I want to be able to assume things are real, Don.
Yeah, no, I look, my account, I try to be authentic and just tell it like it is. And I think that differentiates, me a little bit. And I think that the fake AI videos are the polar opposite.
Okay, so let's talk, here's a sales post. I'm thankful. So this was a post around Thanksgiving. This is going to be a good one. I'm thankful for residential agents who try to sell commercial deals. There's a lot left unsaid there. Let's unpack that.
Yeah, look, I mean, so it starts with the common theme that I talk about is be an expert, right, at what you're doing. And I think a lot of folks, they want to make the money, the extra buck, and they try to kind of do it all. And like, it takes a special kind of expertise to sell residential, which I don't have. I don't understand that world. And vice versa. I mean, you can't just pop in just because, it's the same license in commercial and residential, which is crazy to me. Just because it's the same license doesn't mean that you can jump in and do it. And, you're really doing your client a disservice, right? And so for me, we've been pitched some really great deals over the years from brokers that are residential who are well-meaning, right? And they're getting their client the price, but a lot of times they don't see the whole picture and there's inefficiency that they don't identify. So there's real value in that they're creating for us just by the fact that they're pitching us a deal that they don't really understand.
I love it. So, you're kind of taking advantage of that a little bit, but I mean,
I think everybody. Look. I mean, if it gets mispriced, like the market will take advantage of it.
This is true.
So if it's not me, it's somebody else. So it's it's a gift. If you get a call and the person isn't in commercial real estate, you know that there's a chance that it's either going to be really, really overpriced or a really good deal. Not usually much in the middle, I guess.
So how big is the Town Center Capital portfolio now?
Sure. So backing up. So over my career, we bought 45 deals. The last fund that we did was 12 properties. We finished deploying it earlier this year. We've exited out of 2 already, right? And so we went to the fund model beginning in 2022, and now we actually just launched Fund 2, which is a $75 million fund. We had our first closing Saturday, a $45 million closing, so we're off to the races. And so it'll be probably 18, 20 properties minimum. So I shoot for about 6 deals a year.
We've talked about this in the past, but it really helps the visibility through your social media in generating deals, because people are like, Strip Mall, they think of you, right?
It's wild, right? And so we want to be top of mind. I do lots of, spend an hour plus a day on social media for a reason. I mean, it really helps us with deal flow. 8 out of the 12 deals in our fund, I can attribute directly to the account. It helps us with fundraising. It's been unbelievable. I mean, we've met folks initially on social media, and I can say this because we're a 506c, that ended up putting multi-million-dollar check into our fund. Candidly, and breaking news, the average LP that we have has come into our fund through an initial DM from social media, it's over $600,000.
Shut the front door.
And I think that it's something that folks don't understand and appreciate, because look, that's a sophisticated person who is in multiple real estate funds, and they follow you for a couple of years or whatever, and they really know how you think, and they know our thesis. And then, once we meet, they're kind of ready to go. Obviously, they put me through the ringer, as they should. A lot of back and forth, Zoom calls. They speak to other LPs. They've got attorney, obviously. But the power of social media in reaching investors is something that I never would have understood. And it's not really talked about, because folks think of social media fundraising as, oh, you get 20 grand here, there. No, that's not. Those are not the LPs that you want. But we forget a lot of regular people who are doing amazing things in their careers are on social media every single day, and so it's pretty untapped, and it's been pretty surreal.
Changing the topic, this is one that really spoke to me. One of the most widespread quote-unquote value-add strategies in retail real estate is also the most short-sighted. Quote, buy the site and just build a pad.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Yes.
So talk me through that. Why is it a mistake in the long term?
Yeah, well, listen, that goes back to my leasing days, right? So when you look at strip retail and you have that nail salon and the pizza place that folks drive by and they see it, there's plenty of parking, they love going there, there's the impulse buy, whatever it is, all of a sudden you've built this nice pad right on the corner, created $2 million in value, and now you have blocked visibility to those tenants. You've crushed your parking lot.
Oh,
it's so short-sighted.
Always screws the parking, man.
100%. And so everyone's like, we'll just buy the site and then put up a pad. At what cost? You've added $2 million here. You probably lost over $2 million in value on the back, because from now on, when you get a vacancy, a good operator is not going to come be behind your XYZ pad anymore. So I think just step out, big picture. It's not really a win-win. You've not really created value overall. You've actually destroyed value in many ways. So yeah, there's ways of making it work, but there's a site that we looked at a few years ago down in LA. It's a beautiful strip center, and then they put a Jack in the Box. I love Jack in the Box, great tenant, but literally blocked 30 other tenants just because where it was positioned, and so that's can be a definite landmine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And it's something that so many do. I just see it happen so much.
It's kind of brainless. It's it's so obvious. It's well, wait a minute. If it's so obvious, let's take a step back. It's just build a pad, no problem. Well, it's what are the consequences? Let's analyze those. So.
Okay, what's this one? Okay, this is a good one.
I'm loving this. Let's go.
Okay, when we're buying a strip center, I throw in a hat and an old T-shirt and just hang around the property for days. It's hard to describe how many valuable things you learn. Give me some examples. What do you learn?
First of all, I love doing that. I love just hanging out. You see which tenants are busy and when. You see how the parking lot's being utilized. Who's parking there? Is the parking always tight because the tenants next door are coming over and parking and no one really knows that? You can see crimes going on. You can see, what kind of cars are coming in and out, where the employees are parking, which gives you an idea of how good is the operator. If your employees are parking right in front of your store, taking that great parking, that's a crappy operator. I'm sorry, they don't care. So there's all these little things, where are the cars coming from, and is it dead? Okay, is it dead? Maybe after 1 o'clock it's totally dead. Is that normal for the area? Is it a daytime pop area, etc.? So all these nuances that you really don't know, until you live and breathe the property.
And you're going to continue to do that.
I love doing it. Yeah, no. We will not buy a deal unless I do that. Maybe it makes us not scalable in the long run, but there's been 2 deals in my career that only where I showed up, it was like, okay, it's not what I thought, and we killed those deals, but that doesn't really happen anymore. But yeah, it's fun to do. It's just, it sounds kind of mundane and boring, but I guess my juice is flowing. I love going, I love doing that stuff. So
I do a lot of, I'll do social media stuff where I'll film video in different sites.
Yeah.
And I used to just show up and start filming, and I'd get kicked out by security. So now I always contact the landlords in advance. Do you tell the owner, hey, I'm going to be there, or you just go incognito?
I'm not bothering. And I just hang out. I throw on a hat, literally t-shirt, if the weather's right. Sit in my car. No one even kind of notices that I'm there. And no, I mean, it's not. I'm not taking videos and doing all that. It's just more for just getting a sense. I'm not really even taking photos. So, got to be discreet for sure.
You got to have a look and feel of it. I mean, to truly understand it, right? You can't just buy it based on paper or a quick site tour with the owner or something like that.
No, I wouldn't feel right as a fiduciary for outside investors if I hadn't, been to the property and spent a bunch of time there.
All right, we're all over the place. Here's another topic, and man, this one spoke to me.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why it's become normal to automatically record conversations.
What is going on with that?
But I find it annoying and unprofessional. Agree. So it's like, oh yeah, there's another person in the Zoom, and it's not a person, it's an AI that's making a transcript.
And
What's going on
here?
It's
crazy. I get pushback on this. And I'm like, they're like, oh, what are you afraid of? You don't want to be recorded? It's like, no, I'm not I don't want you recording. It shouldn't be the norm. This isn't a podcast. It's a call. Get my permission. There's a lot of laws around it for a reason. And look, a lot of people are non-confrontational. So although they don't say anything, they're annoyed by it and they don't want to say no. So it should be an opt-in, like click here if you want to be recorded. It should not be if you don't want to be recorded, let us know, or because it puts you in an awkward stop. Hey, you guys recording this? Even for me, it's awkward. I'm I make the people stop. I don't know how they're going to use it later. I didn't read the fine print of what it's going to be used for. I don't want a bunch of my calls just out there, and who knows. I feel like it's a no-brainer. It's annoying, and let's stop with it. No more recording conversations.
And who really needs it? If you're doing your job,
yeah,
you're having conversation and taking notes, and those notes are all you need, right?
I mean, how much of do you need to record? For me, it's 1 or 2 things, main things. I walk away, I write them down. It's you don't need the whole transcript all the time. It's too much data at some point.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to read this whole one because it's long. I'm just going to read the first sentence, and you can fill in the blanks. The toughest space in any strip center is the elbow.
Yep.
Let's talk about the elbow. You? Oh, I know what I wanted to say. In your underwriting, you have to assume 0 rent.
Sometimes.
Okay, sometimes.
So it's so the elbow is a space that, Starbucks is not going to want your elbow, right? And so a great operator is not going to want to be in the elbow. Everyone wants the end cap, right? The elbow is your worst space. So you need kind of destination tenants, but even for them, it's not good visibility. It's far away from the street. Parking is normally not as much parking in that area. And so sometimes there's strip centers that have a 5,000 square foot vacancy in the elbow that folks say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to plug in $24. I'll plug in, $8. But even then, if you look at it and your parking lot's already kind of full, if you lease 5,000 feet to a gym or whatever it is, you're going to kill your parking lot. So you kind of want it vacant anyway. So you got to plug in a negative because, you're not only is it a 0, but your triple nets won't be recouped as well. So you got to back that out of your NOI. So it's not always a 0, but sometimes it is. That there's one site that we looked at and, our team plugged in a really low number. And I'm that's not low enough. It's just we will not lease this space ever. And so there's all these nuances in retail. Everyone's trying to get in the retail right now. All this capital is coming in, but it's all these landmines all over the place. The elbow definitely being one of them. It can kill your underwriting.
You talked about a gym. I remember when we talked about before, you said your least favorite tenants are what? Dry cleaners and karate studios?
I try to have fun with that a little bit.
Where are gyms on that scale?
It just depends. Gyms, sometimes they rent their equipment, which creates, it creates an issue there as far as overhead. Gyms can kill your parking depending on what, who else you've got there. So gyms I don't really have a strong opinion about. They do invest in the space, right? Karate, the lesson there is it's a tenant that doesn't put basically any money. It's like a mat on the ground and maybe some mirrors, and there's your karate studio, and something goes wrong, they're gone by 5 p.m., and so good luck going out. Yeah, and so, yeah, I mean, we really look for properties where there's investment, like tenant investment in the space. It creates a lot of value for us. If it's a restaurant and a tenant leaves, there's a lot of value there. It's easier to lease at good rents. Karate, it's just a box, and good luck with your next tenant.
Okay, new topic. We just started using Facebook ads, and it's creating a ton of tenant leads.
Yeah.
So I had heard Facebook ads are really expensive. Am I wrong about that?
It depends. So look, I mean, if we can do deals, it's the cost is fine. I think we budgeted on $150 a day right now for it, but we have a strip center with out in San Ramon, California, with upstairs we remodeled. It's like beautiful executive suites. But I'm like, okay, great. Here's a great product, great website. How do we tell people, right? And so, Facebook. I haven't used Facebook in years. I was like,
right,
but Facebook Marketplace and Facebook ads, we're seeing folks are on there, businesses are on there, and obviously it goes towards Instagram as well, the same Meta budget. And so I launched it in the last few weeks, and we had 15 leads really quickly, and
Wow.
and they're coming in. So folks, you can geo-target based on your building, do a 1 mile radius around or any building that you choose. I'm pitching sales Facebook ads right now, but no, it's cool because if there's a competing building, you put a pin on that building and you say, okay, I want everyone within a mile of this pin to get a bunch of ads, and so it's been surprisingly really powerful.
And I don't know that much about marketing, social media marketing, but they charge you the more specific you get, right? The more they charge you or something.
I don't know. I'm not sure how they price. I mean, it's based on views, etc. I mean, I'm not sure what they give you a recommended budget, and we just kind of went with that. And I'm also still having calls with folks who really that's their life is Facebook ads. So it's I've got a call tomorrow actually with folks who for 10 years have been doing this and know how to optimize it. So I want to make sure that our team is an expert at Facebook ads.
I gotcha. Interesting. Okay. It's insane how many people allow tax strategy to get ahead of investment strategy. Talk to me a little bit about what led to that conclusion.
That one triggers people a lot.
Okay,
and so
I'm
look,
ready.
A lot of people, take 1031 exchange. Right?
Yep,
if used
that's a big one,
correctly
man.
and everything lines up and all the stars align, it's great. The problem is someone might have a gain of $500,000 and they're so obsessed with not cutting that check to the IRS that they will go crazy and start bidding, on properties, and they'll overpay by $600,000. Okay, defeats the whole purpose. Where's your net benefit? 1031, right? For me, you've got a 45-day window where you're scrambling. In a way, you're a forced buyer. As a seller, I love 1031 exchange buyers. They pay a lot. They can't back out of the deal. And look, if you're going to trade out of a deal, you're buying in the same market atmosphere that you're selling into. So, why not just not transact and not have that transaction fee than you're selling and then buying an average deal. I'm not in this business to buy average deals. I'm not a capital aggregator who goes and buys things at market prices. And so, look, that tax isn't going to go away. And when you trade into a property, you've got that $500,000 that you saved, whatever it is. Someone makes you an offer one day where you're like, damn, that's a really good offer. And you're like, I should take it. It's a 5 cap, but it's really a 6 cap value. But they're offering me a 5 cap because whatever the reason. Where you're like, ooh, but the tax,
right?
There's value being lost there, right? And your property is worth a little bit less because it's almost a little bit less liquid because you have this whole tax gain hanging in there. So it's like, if used correctly and all the stars align and you can within 45 days find another great deal, good luck. I mean, fine. I mean, we can't do that and we have pretty good deal flow. Cost segregation is the other one. And there's folks right now, we're December, 10th, 11th today. People are trying to find a deal and close by the end of the year so that they can do the 100% depreciation thing. They're totally being driven by tax strategy instead of backing up and saying, okay, I want to go find good real estate deals and pay a price that's fair. And look, I think it's emotional when you hate paying taxes so bad that you end up worse off because you're making bad real estate decisions and people don't admit to it. They're doing it left and right all over the place because they hate paying taxes.
Right. Yeah. So you said that one was pretty controversial, right? That a lot of people disagree with you. What's the most controversial thing that you've posted that you got a lot of pushback on?
I mean, I'm not a really controversial account, right? I mean, sometimes I'll get a post that gets controversial because it's confusing. I had one where I said, oh, everyone, I interviewed someone for a job and I thought they were great. I was disappointed because they didn't follow up after the interview. Like I was always taught after the interview, you just follow up.
Yeah.
And to me, as the interviewer, it's a signal to me that they even want the job.
Yeah. I thought everybody did that.
Oh, everyone's like, you want people to get ready for the interview, take the time, and then after follow up and thank you again and like you're so.
I mean, if they want to get the job, that's how it works.
It's a very controversial. I ended up deleting that tweet because it got viral fast of how like what a bad guy who expects people to follow up after the interview. So it's
whatever.
Like
it's not.
Yeah.
It's like whatever you think, listener. It's a best practice to follow up after an interview. We're not going to criticize that person, but if you want the job, follow up after the interview.
The least controversial thing, that's how I was taught, and whatever it is. The other one was when I posted that we're hiring for someone entry-level real estate, $75,000 base salary, and people were like, "That's so low. It's crazy. You're crazy." And I'm like, a lot of brokers, it's actually zero salary, and and we're mentoring people, and they're like, oh, want people to work for cheap. It's like absolutely not, right? And so someone comes in, we're training them. That person that we hired at $75K a couple of years ago is making a lot more than that now, right? And that as it should be. And so a lot of the most, I don't try to be controversial, and so the ones that are I get the most pushback on, I'm just surprised by how sometimes people perceive things.
Yeah. I mean, when you're in the business of sharing your opinions a lot, stuff you don't even expect blows up in weird ways. I mean, and for me, I post a lot and, a lot of podcasts, and the stuff that takes off or is popular or unpopular always surprises me. Yeah. I never know. There's no accounting for taste.
If we knew, then we'd have, we'd go viral all the time. So it's like, I don't know sometimes on both sides. I don't know which posts will go viral because people love and the opposite. And so it's that the algorithm is a funny thing.
Yeah, it is. I've noticed you're posting a lot, speaking to college students and groups of college students. Is that a bigger part of your life now?
They keep reaching out and I have a hard time saying no. It's just such an innocent, great, it's a great atmosphere, right? No one's there to for an agenda or to make money or to pitch anyone. And what's really fascinating, I've spoken now at Cornell, Harvard, Columbia, NYU, speaking at Princeton here soon. And what's interesting is a lot of people, when I walk in, saying, hey, I started following you when I was 17 and now I'm 21.
Oh, wow.
And that's probably the most engaged segment of the population is college students who came across it when a time where they knew zero about real estate. Maybe it was their introduction to real estate. So it's there's a few of us on there on real estate Twitter that, and that they follow, but it's just a great, they're always enthusiastic, lots of questions. And for me, it's such an honor. I've spoken at Harvard now, I think 3 times. I could never get into Harvard. And it's you walk in, I'm like, what's even going on right now? So it's speaking at Santa Clara this spring, which is where I went to college. And so they reached out. And so it's fun. It really is.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't do it a lot, but occasionally I'll speak to college groups.
Yeah.
It's like the real estate club at a university,
the real estate club, or a professor.
Yeah, the professor brings you to a class. Always so much fun. They always are just sponges for information. And it's nice to speak to a group that's not jaded, has seen everything.
Yeah. No, they're wide-eyed. I think that they like that I'm an operator. A lot of folks that they hear from are more corporate, and so that it's different there. Yeah, I'll keep doing them. They're just great.
Do you think that we're struggling to get young people into the business?
I think it's much harder now than it was, 5-6 years ago when it would just get in and everyone's making money anywhere. So I think we're at a healthy place in the business. If you come in under a good mentor and you learn a niche correctly, you're going to do great in this business, right? And you work hard and all that. And it's like, I think for a while we lost that. It was just, you get in and if you get a listing, rates kept going down, so it would sell, and folks, it was easier to get in when everyone's making a lot of money. And so now there's still a lot of money to be made, and lots of great folks are doing well, but it's much harder, which is really how it should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think one of your main themes is like the riches are in the niches, right? And you gotta specialize. If you're somebody like that starting out, how do you choose the niche? Is it just like whatever you find the opportunity, go with that?
You go work under someone who's great at whatever niche you think is like maybe interesting, right? And so, in an area of the country where you want to live. So it's like, if I wanted to like do real estate in New York, I'd reach out to like maybe the top broker, like a Bob Knackle or developer, whatever it is, and go get trained there. Because it's funny how when someone's really good and they're teaching you and you get good, you start to like it. Right, so it's hard to kind of know what you're going to love or whatever. It's more about liking and respecting the person who's teaching you the business. I think that's the key.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. Like, I've been around the brokerage world for decades now, and I've seen all kinds of brokers and how they work with their, what they would call runners, the junior. And I've seen some treat them very well, and others treat them very poorly. And the ones that are successful are the ones that really play the mentorship role, and treat people well and, apprentice them. So I love seeing that.
Abundance mindset, for sure.
I love it. Okay, we're going to do one more. Some of the best salespeople I've ever met are total introverts.
Yes, it's funny because a friend of mine years ago worked at Yelp in sales, and Yelp's a very you're cold calling a lot of local businesses. And I went to an event where I met the top salespeople, and I was like, oh wow, I want to meet this and that. And it's like, they were super mellow and not what I had pictured. And that was my first, I'm like, wait a minute, you don't have to be this outgoing person and like life of the party. You just have to listen really well and give the clients the right information. So I think most folks think that in order to be good at sales or biz dev, whatever it is, you're going to be loud and all that. And I just think I've noticed in my career the last X amount of years watching folks that are selling us on software, whatever it is, it's very much not the case. And I just thought it was interesting.
Was that personal for you? Do you consider yourself an introvert?
I do. I'm being forced to not be one anymore. But yeah, I think to me, an extrovert gets energy out of being out there in a room and all that, and an introvert takes energy away from them. I definitely will say that after like a few meetings or a podcast, I am pretty drained. So I'm probably faking the extrovert thing. I'm probably more of an introvert.
I think I'm similar to you. I enjoy conversations and I get energy from that, but everything else around it, the physicality of being around people drains me.
A little bit.
So,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Or like for me, like if I'm talking to someone and it's a topic that's not interesting at all, it's draining. I'm like, I don't want to interrupt them, whatever it is. It's like it's draining to sit there for like 20 minutes talking about something that you don't necessarily think is interesting. And I'm like, oh man, I want to take a nap right now. So.
I think, doing this podcast for so many years, it's given me the skill to ask the questions to get to the interesting stuff, which has really helped me out with the mingling with people is, I just kind of dive in and, you're right, man. If somebody's talking about something you're not interested in, it's rough.
There's podcasts where the interviewer doesn't really know real estate or not necessarily it's like in the business, and those are draining because I can tell that they are really trying hard to understand what I'm saying, and it's just like it's those are hard and draining. And I love the ones like this one where it's like you're in the business, we can talk shop, and this one give me energy.
So. Yeah. Is that more of like some entrepreneurial focused podcast? Is that what you...
Sometimes you get ones that are real estate focused, but the interviewer is a journalist who doesn't really understand the business very well. So I get asked, well, what about Amazon? And just all these questions that we answered, like 20 years ago, and I'm like, well, let's talk about that. It's fine. It is what it is. But it's like you're like, just know that it's not going to be interesting for the audience. It doesn't happen often, but just give you an example of like where it can be a little bit draining and tiring. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Don, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been an awesome conversation. If you're not already following him, it's at StripMallGuy. He's on X. You're on LinkedIn. You're on Instagram.
LinkedIn's getting big. Yeah, Instagram. I just started doing videos a couple months ago. It's really fun, really great. So.
Okay, wait. Before I close out, tell me a little bit more about that. I've seen them. It's just you walking and talking, right?
Well, yeah, it's just I always was. I was first year I was anonymous, first couple of years, whatever, and I just don't have experience being on camera, so I just was always kind of scared of it. And 2 months ago, I was having lunch with Amir, who runs The Real Deal. He's like, Don, you should do more on camera stuff. Come on, you'd be great. I was like, I was like, you know what? If he's saying that, that's a compliment. I'll try it. And it's like, just in the morning on the way to work, usually I'll just have like an idea, whatever I'm thinking about, or an old post on Twitter that comes to mind. I'll just hold the camera up and record it, and just not even editing. You just like put it out, and people are liking it, so I'm going to keep going with it.
That's awesome. And so the account on Instagram is at StripMallGuy.
StripMallGuy, yeah.
Okay. So check it all out. Thank you, Don, so much.
Thank you. That was a fun one.
And if you want to hear more interviews, audio retail tours, and new research insights, you can subscribe to Where We Buy on the iPhone podcast app or on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can even find us on the web at wherewebuy.show. And that's a wrap.